Good morning. Okay, welcome to another video. Okay, on today's video, I want to talk to you about working in the snow, the risk and reward factor. Now, for the last 4, 5, maybe 6 days in the UK, we've had what they're calling it the beast from the east that came to visit us. Now, horrendous weather actually battered the whole of the UK. If you're on the motorway, you'd have experienced long delays. If you're on the A roads, they were just completely gridlocked. And if you're on the side roads, don't even bother trying to get out of it. You weren't going to make it. Right, so even with all these conditions, there's an elite force of taxi drivers who brave these conditions. And I probably just heard what you said there. Did you say elite? And I did say elite. Don't you mean greedy? No, maybe not. Foolish? Well, could be. Inexperienced? Maybe. And this is where the heart of this argument lies. Who are these drivers and what makes these drivers work in these conditions? Right, firstly, let's separate these drivers. If you work for a base and your fare on these weather conditions are not doubled, then you're a complete fool. You know, you shouldn't be out on the road and expect your company not charging double to your passengers in this horrendous condition. And Uber, on the other hand, are a lot more driver friendly in these circumstances. And you've probably seen on the papers, online, you know, they were charging 5 times their actual fare. So, you know, there was a lot of money to be made if you were out there. So I can only tell you guys from my experience how I deal with this. It's wrong in some people's eyes, obviously, and you know, some other people probably agree with it. But from my understanding, the risk factor is not worth taking. And this is quite important to understand. The risk is not worth taking. Never mind the reward. How much I will earn does not even come into context. So the reward factor is not even worth actually mentioning. So what am I actually basing my argument on? Firstly, and probably the most important, is your safety. Get involved in a serious accident can be fatal. Or you can even land yourself in hospital for a few weeks. What money is worth that? Secondly, you know, if you're involved in a minor accident, you know, bumping into someone or someone else hitting you, that could result in time out of work, getting the car repaired, and that is not a quick fix, by the way, because the repair shops are just stacked up with cars to be repaired. So you're not going to be out straight away. The insurance premium, now your fault, 50-50 accident, will increase your premium, no doubt. And you also have excess to pay. And, you know, and you could think of loads more, you know, more than I could just think of on top of my head now. Now, also quite important as well to remember, working with Uber is completely different from base. Get involved in a slight accident and you're taken off the app straight away, no questions asked. And that's not it. It is really hard for them to put you back on again. You have to go through the MOT, this, that, the whole lot. And the worst factor, as all of you could agree with me there, contacting and communicating with Uber is a nightmare through the email. You know, you write something, they don't even understand what you're on about, then they come back to you, back forward. You know, it's just a completely nightmare. So, you know, that's quite bad. You know, Uber will tempt you with surge maps, bright red as anything you ever seen before. But you know something? All the risk is yours. So, you know, as I said, I'm not here to tell you if you're doing the right or the wrong thing going out to work. You know, you're all old enough to make that mind up. And, you know, I could tell you how I've worked for the last few days. I've had 2 days off. I've been working 4 hours one day, few hours the next day. What I've been doing is just analysing what times the snow was going to come down, and I was just working one way towards home because I didn't want to get caught into that drift. And when that does actually come, if it comes quick, you know, I mean, you got drivers on the road who are probably less experienced than you, will be sliding all over the place, creating chaos, creating backlog, and you could be stranded for a long time. So, you know, that's one of the things I've done, was make sure, you know, before the snow comes, get out, watching the temperature. If it goes too low, you know, you want to come back home, because once you start freezing, you know, it'll be a lot harder for you to come back home. The other thing I've done, or tactic, if you want to call it, deployed, was actually I was just working the airport rank. I know a lot of flights were cancelled as well, but then again, not many drivers were also ranking up at the same time, which made up for the cancellations, I suppose. And, you know, once you got a passenger from the airport, you know, their route are mainly, obviously, if you're not Birmingham Airport, you know, straight on the motorway, or you got a few good A roads that come out of it, which are more or less okay to travel on. And also you'll find that the passengers you actually take home are more understandable to what's going on. So, you know, you can actually drop them on top of the grove and say, you know, look, I can't go down, and they can understand that. Whereas when you're working on the regular run, you know, you probably have to go to the grove and get the actual people and try to come out of the grove as well in the snow, ice, especially if there's a flipping slope there. You've had it, you know, you just can't get up it. So, you know, that's what I've been doing, working the airport rank. You could work the city rank. You know, these are two ranks which I normally don't work. I'm working because in the city you can more or less, all this, mind you, having said that, not all the roads are gritted properly, but, you know, you could get around it, where the areas you don't want to be in are like the north of Birmingham, you know, Barbican Way, where there's a lot of hills, and the other side, the south of Birmingham, Licker Hills area, Northfield, and all them sort of areas, very bad areas to work for. So, you know, you got to use a bit of your brain to work out how, you know, you're going to work in these kind of conditions. Anyway, I hope that helps, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye bye now.